What is good, everybody? Welcome in. Welcome in. So a little bit of a different live stream that we're doing today. We're really just going to be talking about tomorrow and Sundays. It's that time of the year, right? People wait for the Super Bowl. They wait for the Final Four. You know, I wait for Wrestlemania. I totally wait for Wrestlemania. So, seems that the video feed might be a little glitchy today. I don't know why, but we are having some weather out here, so hopefully that doesn't cause an issue at all whatsoever. Um, Let me know. Let me get a sound check if everything's okay. Gotta go that way. I know there's a little bit of a latency issue that I'm experiencing right now. If it gets too bad, then I'll probably just end up like turning the camera off. But anyways, yeah, so I want to talk about WrestleMania and just kind of give like my predictions as to what I think is gonna go down. Nia, what's up? Jess, what's up? Welcome in. Yeah, just kind of give my idea of like what I think is gonna happen for the show itself. What could we expect? Because there's just like a ton of things that's just kind of going on. And yeah, I'll give it like another minute or so, just kind of like let more people come in, and then we'll get to that whole point. Plus too, there's like tons of rumors and stuff that's flying around as far as like what's gonna happen for the main events, right? So I'll kind of just talk a little bit about that. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do this on the Deathlock podcast. I know that I wanted to do this with BTech. We have a wrestling podcast that we both go on and we just kind of do this, but I think he's been very busy this week and really hasn't had the time to do this live stream. So maybe he'll do his separate later on tonight, and if he does, I would definitely ask you guys to check it out. But yeah, let's kind of get into it. So I'm gonna be completely honest with everybody and just say like this WrestleMania just seems a little lackluster. Hold on, before wrestling fans rip me a new asshole, let me just kind of explain why. I feel it's a little bit lackluster because I feel like that a lot of the matches that's scheduled for WrestleMania didn't really have the time to develop some sort of good story to kind of go into it. I feel like that the whole thing with Bayley, there wasn't too much hype built around that. Excuse my dogs. They always bark when I go live. They always do. It's like they're quiet. They are quiet for a while, but the moment they hear me like live streaming, they want to start barking. But anyways, yeah, I just feel like like the whole thing with like Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee against Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio, like there wasn't much build up to that either. I just felt like that a lot of it has been centered around Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and The Rock, the Bloodline, basically the Onawati family, the Reynolds family, like those things. I feel like that they pretty much put the spotlight on and kept it on that, and everything else just kind of got like overshadowed or just fell by the wayside. So I'm not going to be talking about every match that's on the card. Like I do know that Bobby Lashley and his actually I haven't even really been following Bobby Lashley at all. I really haven't followed Bobby Lashley at all and what's going on. I know him and the Street Profits, their faction is in a feud with Karrion Kross, and those are really those really big dudes that he's kind of like implored. I hear the rumors that seasoned dressers are going to leave after the event. I don't know about that. But anyways, yeah, so I really haven't followed that. The six-man Philadelphia street fight match. Really haven't followed that. So, because like the story is just very lackluster to me. Like, the whole thing with Bobby Lashley and that there's just not really a lot of hype built around it. I really wish that they would have done more. You know what I mean? moving from that, basically Jade Cargill finally, like, in a pay-per-view match, um like teaming up with Bianca Belair and Naomi, and they're taking on Damage Control, right? So Damage Control has their hands full tonight, as one of their partners, Io Sky, will defend her title against Bailey, which I'm hyped up for the match between Io and Bailey, even though there wasn't like so much really kind of put out there for that. Hey, still at work, but we'll listen in. Rock is bringing the entertainment side to, I guess you can say that. Yeah, a lot of stuff has really changed about it. Like the whole acquisition of WWE, under new management, right? TKO basically running it now. I mean, there's some changes that's for the good. We'll have to see how this goes, right? How this new regime kind of works out, right? They are really doing everything that they can to really just kind of like put the McMahon name to bed and not really have it tied so much to WWE after all the litigations that Vince McMahon's involved in, all the things that's going on with now Stephanie McMahon named, apparently Shane McMahon involved, Brock Lesnar involved. There's just, so much stuff going on, and just things that are coming to light that I can really see why they are bringing in The Rock, right? The Rock kind of getting involved. I mean, it was just so weird from the very beginning where, The Rock was, taking Cody's place, Cody giving up his spot, shaking hands with The Rock, leaving the ring, The Rock basically facing his cousin, and, all the feud stuff. And like, prior to that, The Rock cutting a promo talking about being head of the table and all that. And then now what we're in right now, right? Night one of WrestleMania, it's The Rock and Roman Reigns against Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. So basically both Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins pulling double duty. Roman Reigns pulling double duty. The only one's not really pulling double duty is Drew McIntyre and really The Rock. I have a feeling the next person that's going to go, that's going to be big news, is the ones that's writing all these stories. That man is Triple H. Could possibly be. I mean, it could possibly be that Triple H goes. I, for one, wouldn't want to see Triple H go. Honestly, I really wouldn't. What he's been doing this last couple of years, just kind of being like head of creative and everything, has actually kind of like panned itself and worked out. I like where certain things are going. Like I said, this is WrestleMania 40, so this is supposed to be like, 4 decades of WrestleMania, the grandest in 4 decades, and I just feel like that they put all their nuts in the basket when it comes to just Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, The Rock. It's just like everything's just like hyper focused on that. Reason why I'm saying that is because he's part of the family. Well, I mean, so far things are being dropped. Yes. If you kind of think about it, it would make sense, right? That people would automatically just like throw Triple H or Paul Levesque in that position, because he was also, what was it? He was also in the same position when, the whole ordeal with, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, the Montreal Screwjob. Basically, Paul's has been like, he's been really involved in a lot of things. So, one would think like, yeah, he's gonna be next in the whole situation because he had to have known, right? And yeah, I'm pretty sure he's known on all those things. Yeah, he's not been named. So until they name him in all of this, he's pretty much like on the sidelines when it comes to that. For now, we'll see what happens, right? That one's pretty true. Yeah. Anyways, so let's before I get into like who I think is gonna win what match or whatever, let's kind of get into the rumors. Okay. A lot of people have been dropping all these rumors, right? A lot of people just kind of really trying to figure out this storyline. The Rock putting this up, right? Putting that up rather than putting his well, we get it out there, right? So microphone's in the way, so weird. Not doing this when they raise their hands for the bloodline symbol, but doing this, right? Loser. Certain things that he says and the direction that he's looking at makes people think that he's going to turn on Roman. I don't know if the intentions is to do that. Like in the very beginning of the storyline with Roman Reigns, The Rock, Cody Rhodes, I honestly felt like that maybe The Rock is playing Roman. I mean, who's going to know you better than your own blood, right? Your own cousin, right? And so to make it to where it's a fair advantage, because Roman has only defended the title 313 times. Out of like the 1,300 and something odd days that he's been champion, or 1,400 and something odd days he's been champion, he's only defended it. No, 31 times. Sorry, 31 times. I remember seeing this meme where they compared Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, right? And like Seth Rollins has only been champion for like 300 plus days, but he's defended the title like 61 times. Roman's been champion for like 1,300 plus days, and he's only defended it 31 times. You know, these statistics that they throw at you on social media, and you read them, you're like, wow, you know, kind of crazy, right? So you know, it would have people believe that, you know, Roman would get played by his own cousin, because his cousin knows him very well. And if they had gone that route, right? Like, let's say, like, you know, The Rock is playing Roman, and then at WrestleMania, The Rock unveils his true colors, and the fact that, you know, he wanted to make it a fair fight between Cody and Roman, making sure the bloodline didn't get involved, and that Paul Heyman had nothing to do with it, right? Roman loses the title because of The Rock. Sets up for a match between The Rock and Roman at SummerSlam. It's a possibility, but I don't feel it's like that anymore. I don't feel it's like that. I feel like that's what they were going to do. But the fact that we got Hollywood Rock back with his new hybrid vest, mesh, $500 shirt pattern, right? His, you know, the sunglasses and everything, fans really popped for Hollywood Rock. And so because of that, I feel like that, you know, they're going to keep him part of the bloodline. I'll tell you what my predictions are in the future storyline lies with all these wrestlers and what could happen later on. But as of right now, I feel like that The Rock is in fact bloodline. Like there's no, I'm going to betray anybody later. Maybe there's one person that will be betrayed, but not for the reasons that people think. But rumor has it that Stone Cold Steve Austin has been really working out in the last couple of months. Lots of people suspect that he will be at WrestleMania 40. And why wouldn't he be at WrestleMania 40? I mean, it's 4 decades of WrestleMania. You got to bring him in. You got to bring Hulk Hogan in. You got to bring all these memorable names in. But people feel like he's going to be at WrestleMania. He's also going to get involved if The Rock tries to screw Cody. That's what people are thinking. The second person that people are thinking is going to make an appearance at WrestleMania is Goldust. And why wouldn't Goldust make an appearance? Okay, let's say hypothetically night 1, The Rock and Roman Reigns wins the tag title, so they get to put Cody's match as a bloodline rules, which means anything goes. Well, you can have a whole debacle where Austin attacks The Rock, Goldust comes out to help his brother, Jey Uso joins in the fray because of his match with his brother Jimmy at WrestleMania, could end in a not very well way, so their fight continues on. Solo gets involved. Like, you have people that are going to be going in on this. The problem with all of these rumors and the way that they're trying to stack this story up is that if you do that, you take away from the World Heavyweight Championship, Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins, which I honestly am just like, I love the fact that Seth is in there, and he's like, he made it clear that, you know, Cody Rhodes needs a shield, and he will be Cody's shield because he feels responsible for the way that Roman is and what happened and why Roman's an asshole right now. I get that. The sad part is that it's kind of taking the spotlight away from the World Heavyweight Championship match, Drew McIntyre against Seth, and the whole debacle that can come out of that later on. The Hollywood Rock thing that you're doing right now, because big back to him now is a lot bigger because he's a new star and film wrestler. Yeah, I mean, he's also, you know, on the board of TKO. So I mean, it's kind of like, The Rock replaces Vince McMahon in that role, right? Of getting involved in all these matches and everything like that. It's just crazy. We are getting hit hard by a downpour of heavy rain today. Maybe Nevada and Arizona will get some. I think, I know it's supposed to rain a little bit here, like in the next 2 hours and 15 minutes, like about 7 p.m. ish. We got like a 35% chance of rain, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I feel like that the whole, and I don't know why they keep calling it the WWE, Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship. Like, just call it the WWE Heavyweight Championship. Get rid of the fucking Universal name. It's so ridiculous. You have the World Heavyweight Championship back with a newer design and the WWE logo at the center of the main plate. So you brought back the World Heavyweight Championship after you unified them. You brought it back and then and you put it on Seth Rollins. So just call the damn belt that Roman has the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Just call it that, and then call the other one. Well, just call it WWE Heavyweight Championship, and then the World Heavyweight Championship. There you go. Go back to its original name. So just do that. I don't know why they call it Universal. It just sounds so stupid to me. Get rid of the Universal name. Anyhow, so I feel like it takes away from that because. Kind of like shifting over to the whole Seth Rollins thing with Drew McIntyre. Do I think that Drew is going to win? Yes, I do. I think that Seth has carried the World Heavyweight Championship and has been a workhorse. 300 plus days World Heavyweight Champion, 61 title defenses, 62 coming at WrestleMania. Okay. There's no shame in the game if he drops the belt. No shame at all. No shame in the game. He drops the belt. It's not a bad look for Seth. Do I think that Drew McIntyre will remain World Heavyweight Champion? No, I don't. I don't. And I love all these rumors that's being said that, because you can't forget Damian Priest is still the Money in the Bank contract holder. He still has not cashed in his Money in the Bank. But the problem with that is, we don't know if Finn Balor has anything up his sleeve, right? The Judgment Day needs to break up at this point. There are a lot of rumors that I'm going to talk about that I've read, and I'm going to tell you guys my opinions on them. But this is one of them. So when Damian Priest won the Money in the Bank contract, usually the Money in the Bank briefcase is green with gold letters that says Money in the Bank. Then he put the contract from the green briefcase to a custom-made Judgment Day Money in the Bank contract briefcase, which is purple and black. We saw the contract go in there on a backstage skit. We saw it go in there, but who's to say that it's still in there? Every member of the Judgment Day has touched that briefcase. Every member. Finn could easily swap. He could easily swap the contract out of the Judgment Day briefcase and put it back in the original Money in the Bank briefcase. He himself can go and cash it. Whoever holds the Money in the Bank briefcase can cash. So no one can be like, well, he didn't win it, so how are they going to let him cash it in? No, whoever has the contract can cash it in. That is the thing about the Money in the Bank contract. So yes, if Finn has possession of it, Finn can cash it in. If he wins the title, he's champ. Because that's what the contract doesn't say. Damian Priest gets a title shot at his choosing. It's a contract that says that a title shot for the championship that is chosen can be cashed in at any time. So when you kind of think about it, Finn, who has been out of the limelight since his shoulder injury when he was the first Universal Champion, and he had to relinquish the belt because he got injured in the shoulder. We never seen him back in the spotlight then, but this could be his chance to kind of steal it. Do I think that's going to happen? Maybe 10% chance. 10%. Maybe. Do I think Damian Priest cashes in and wins successfully? I give it about a 65% chance. And I say that because there are other things that Damian Priest can do. However, I do feel like that if he does decide to cash in after the match is over, because he's not going to do it he's not going to turn it into a triple threat match. He's not going to go out like that. But he'll go out there and either if Seth pulls the victory and wins, he drops the belt to Damian. If Drew McIntyre wins, he's going to drop the belt to Damian. Why? Well, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre already have a feud. They already have a feud already. They don't like each other. So this sets up to just kind of not only take the title off Seth and let Seth take a break. Okay, buddy, workhorse, you did a lot for the company. Time for you to sit down and catch a breath. These guys can handle it. and putting the belt on Damian, and then having Drew feud with Damian. But would this be where Drew turns face? No, I don't think so. I think everyone is loving this heel version of Drew again, right? Like, we seen him as a face. Okay, it was cool at the moment when he feuded with Brock Lesnar, but that time has since passed. Time for him to be a heel again. I like him as a heel. So then, does that mean that Damian Priest has to turn face? Possibly. Considering all the things that's going around, the possibility of the split up with the Judgment Day, I would see Damian Priest turning face. I would see Damian Priest staying heel for a couple of weeks, cutting promos about, how he screwed over Drew and how it's so funny that he did, and he's the new champion and the Judgment Day has a title. But I would feel that the rest of the members of Judgment Day would look at Damian Priest like, he's trying to just put the whole spotlight on him, which goes against what the Judgment Day faction was all about, right? They weren't supposed to have a leader. They weren't supposed to have someone that was the main spotlight holder and everyone was just fallback soldiers. They were all supposed to be equal. And so I feel like that Rhea and Finn and what's that? I forgot that goofy dude's name. But a lot of those guys are gonna look at Damian Priest like, he's trying to hog the spotlight. They will turn on him. Who knows? Does Drew McIntyre replace Damian Priest in the Judgment Day? Possibility, because we've been seeing clues and hints that Rhea Ripley has, talked with Drew behind the scenes without Judgment Day's knowledge. We don't know if they're looking to. Remember, Damian and Rhea have basically are on odds ends of like who is the leader of Judgment Day, which I found to be funny because, again, like I said, the faction was not supposed to have a leader. That was the whole reason why they attacked and brutally beat down Edge and kicked him out of the group. It almost seemed like for a while that Finn was kind of taking leadership role after Edge was booted out of the group, but then we started to see them all start to kind of play together. Rhea, Damian, Finn, all on the same page. Dominic, all on the same page. Dominic being Rhea's boy toy and all this other stuff. And nobody was ascending above the others. Wasn't until recent. That's right. JD McDonald. Yeah, that guy's a goofball. I can't take that. When R-Truth was literally like trolling the fuck out of him, I couldn't take him seriously. JD's who I'm talking about. I know Dominic Mysterio. Everyone knows Dominic Mysterio. I've been watching that kid since he was young, and Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero, and for the parental rights to Dominic. Like, Dominic's been in the business for so long. You've seen him as a kid, and you watch him kind of grow up every time. You watch WrestleManias that Rey Mysterio was involved. You have to look at the side rails where fans are sitting close front row, because those are family members and friends, and you'll see Dominic in a lot of them. But anyways, so my prediction for the whole Drew McIntyre debacle: Seth loses the belt fairly to Drew. Drew thinks he has it all. Damian cashes in. That's what I think happens. And Damian walks out World Heavyweight Champion. It's about time. Yeah, we can go live on the Deathlock, dude. Tomorrow. Yeah, we can go more in depth. There he is. The man of the hour. Y'all say what's up, and you guys have not subscribed to the Deathlock podcast, please do so, because B-Tech and I talk wrestling on that show. And I will go over this again tomorrow on the Deathlock podcast. I don't care if I did one here, bro. We can do it again tomorrow. But yeah, so that's how I feel is going to happen with that is, Damian's going to be World Heavyweight Champion. That's my predictions on that. Him walking away with the belt, setting up for a crazy twist plot of a story. When it comes down to the whole thing with Bayley and Io Sky. Okay, now I have a feeling this can go two ways. I don't feel like Bayley is going to fast track it to the championship and revenge against all those people who have in her clique have turned on her. Good, you're free all day tomorrow, so we can set it up. Probably. See, you should be 2 hours ahead of me. because of daylight savings and everything. So I believe it's 4:55 p.m. my time, so it's almost 7 o'clock your time right now, right? So I would say 2 p.m. your time, 12 noon my time. We can set it up for that. But anyways, like I said, I don't feel that Bayley's walking out WWE Women's Champion. I don't. It's not that I have anything against Bayley. I like Bayley as a wrestler. I think she's phenomenal and great. I just feel like that it would be too quick of a cutoff, right? Like Bayley gets kicked out of Damage Control. They keep consistently attacking her behind the scenes. So we're gonna have her beat Io Sky at WrestleMania and take the belt. Okay. I don't really see it kind of going that way because, sometimes they like to run storylines where they make the face basically run what I call the redemption gauntlet. You take out one member after another of the faction that you created. So yeah, when you do that, it's like it makes it more grander. But then this is where I feel like, and I'm going to say it again, and those who are heavy fans are probably going to hate me for this, but WrestleMania 40 is lackluster other than the main events. It's lackluster because I feel like they didn't build this well. They should have had this going before, because honestly, to rob Bayley of winning the women's championship at WrestleMania is like ludicrous, right? They could have started they did start the idea that, Damage Control was going to turn on her, but they should have fast-tracked the actual actions of it happening rather than just little facial expressions and body language clues here and there. Because she could have gone through each member of, Damage Control leading up to Io Sky at WrestleMania. But again, this is not the McMahon regime. This is TKO regime. And so they might be trying to do these stories differently. As you're seeing with the whole WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship, storylines are intersecting. It's become like a spider. Seth is involved. They're facing The Rock and Roman Reigns night 1. Night 2, Cody faces Roman Reigns. You have a lot of these things just kind of tying in. So yeah, I mostly believe Bayley won't win, but I'm hoping that she does. Because if I'm going to be very serious as an avid fan of wrestling, Io Sky is probably in the top 5 of lackluster champion. I'm getting tongue-tied here. I'm like half tired. And the reason why I say that is because they really haven't put her in any interesting feuds. The whole time that I've been watching her title reign, there wasn't really good feuds. So I just don't care to see her with a belt. Now, if the writers backstage want to write her up something really good, please do, and save her character a little bit. Like they actually could right now, which is funny because it seems like that the timing just doesn't mesh up well. They could literally, she has the Kabuki Warriors, part of Damage Control. She has Dakota Kai herself, right? Bring back Funaki. Yeah, they could have had a stable like that. We've had a Japanese stable in WWE, right? What's his name? Takamichi Noku, Funaki. I forgot what they called their group, right? Anyways, there's like Kai and Tai. But anyways, we've had that, but we've never really had like an ultimate one. And if I was to create a stable of Japanese wrestlers in WWE that are going to represent for Japan and do all that, well then, of course, yeah, you have the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and what the hell is little twig girl's name? Oh my god, forgot. Kairi Sane. You have them, right? You could bring back Funaki as an influencer to the group, but also kind of put Shinsuke Nakamura involved in that too as well, right? There's even like people that you could bring over from New Japan Pro, like to just kind of create the stable. But that's just, I'm reaching. Let's not go into that. We could do that on another episode of like fun things that WWE can do to kind of just like keep the momentum rolling. But what I'm saying is I don't see Bayley winning it. If they're going like the kind of the old way. If she wins it, great. You know what I mean? But then what happens then? Does she continue to feud with Damage Control? Does Damage Control become the group that is destined to try and screw Bayley out of maintaining her title reign? Like, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a celebratory night for Bayley, which sucks, because I wanted like a good storyline to kind of lead to that victory. So there's a lot of substance behind it, and that's just me. All right, so going into the Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton, what do I think of that match? Look, I know that they behind the scenes, they must know SmackDown starting. Cool. I am not gonna watch it. I'm gonna finish up this podcast, bro. I know that they know that having the United States title on Logan Paul would bring eyes, because even though people get irritated with Logan Paul, him as United States champion brings the eyes, whether it's good or bad. Like, it goes down to that whole thing, good or bad publicity is still good publicity, because you're in the minds of people, and that's all they really want. Cool. Everything's set up for 2 p.m. tomorrow. Definitely subscribe to the Deathlock podcast so you guys can catch us talking about this. I'm sure B-Tech's gonna have like a lot to kind of say about what I've said here tonight. To watch us both just kind of like bounce off each other like playing freaking Pong or something. But anyways, do I think that Logan Paul is gonna walk out of WrestleMania as United States champion? Yes. I know. It's like blasphemy. A non-wrestler walking out with the United States title. Like, it would make sense in the old days to put the belt on Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, get it off Logan Paul, right? And I agree with that. Get it off Logan Paul. But problem is that you have 2 top caliber wrestlers, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. Okay, making this into a triple threat match would be so awkward, because the only way that I feel like it turns out in a good way is because Randy is a veteran now, that Randy just basically assists Kevin Owens with capturing the title. Like, he fought hard for the title, but he's at that point in his stage that he doesn't need a belt to elevate his status in the company. He's gonna unload tomorrow. He doesn't need a belt to elevate his status, and Kevin Owens really doesn't need one either. But it would be great to see in this stage of Kevin Owens' career for him to grab a title again. He's kind of been in and out of that scene. It's time for a belt to get put on his shoulders or around his waist. So I feel like that, Logan Paul steals it for the publicity headlines to be able to say that Logan Paul won at a WrestleMania and retained title, to set up for a final match between him and Kevin Owens in the future, to allow Kevin Owens to get that one-on-one clean victory, take the belt, because that's the icing on the cake. Logan Paul's talking mad shit. So to get, the icing on the cake would literally be for KO to defeat Logan Paul fair and square, one-on-one, no other bullshit, no outside interference, right? Because his last title match with Logan Paul ended because he did use the brass knuckles, but he forgot to toss them away. He left it on his hands, and the match got thrown into disqualification. Champion retains title. So we know Kevin Owens can whoop that ass. We know that Kevin Owens can take that belt from Logan Paul. We just know that Kevin Owens was in the heat of the moment and forgot to do the quintessential thing of using a foreign object in a match, is to get rid of it. You got to Eddie Guerrero that, KO. You got to Eddie Guerrero that next time. Eddie Guerrero was like the master of that. And one thing I loved about Eddie Guerrero was when he would actually use the foreign object, not on his opponents, but used it on his opponents in a way where he would give them the foreign object and then lay down like he got knocked out, costing them the match. I love those moments. Rest in love, Eddie Guerrero. I miss him a lot, because he just did when he was a face, a lot of his dirty tricks ended up being very comical. But when he was a heel, his dirty tricks pissed off a lot of people. So it really wasn't that he changed a lot of what he did, because he did the same things. It's just fans reacted differently depending on if he was a heel or a face. And yeah, that's just the outcome of it. That's just what it is. So, anyways, yeah, I think that Logan Paul wins it at WrestleMania, walks out with a championship to gloat even more on his glory of winning out of WrestleMania, and to, especially his brother's is in the headlines. He's gonna fight Mike Tyson. What a stupid setup of a match. And Tyson, if you accept money and let yourself get squashed to help promote Jake Paul in boxing, then you were never in love with boxing. Because a lot of people don't believe that Mike Tyson's gonna throw the fight. Anyways, so we talked about that. What was that? Sami Zayn against Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. I can see them. And this would be a cool thing, right? Because if I'm wrong and Kevin Owens wins the United States title, it would be awesome that Sami Zayn won the Intercontinental Championship from Gunther, and both, good buds, best friends, leave WrestleMania with respective mid singles titles. That would be so awesome to see that. It would be amazing to see that. However, we don't really know, because again, there wasn't too much of things to be built up to kind of just create hype around these matches. Like, all the hype has been put on what I am going to finally talk about right now, right here before I end the podcast, and that is the tag match between The Rock, Roman, Cody, and Seth, lead up to the main event night 2, Cody against Roman. So first of all, I'm going to say that I feel like that The Rock and Roman are going to win the tag title match. Not title, sorry. No titles involved. Just a tag match. And the right to call the stipulation of the main event for night 2. I feel like, that's where it's heading. That's where it's heading. I feel like that there's not going to be much or to any interference in that tag team match, because they're going to want the spotlight, everyone on the edge of their seats watching and listening and looking to see, does Cody and Seth pull it off? I mean, if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. But I mean, I honestly feel like that is what's going to happen. I feel like that The Rock and Roman are going to win. To overhype and to push through adversity for Cody Rhodes to finish the story. A story that's been going on since his return and has been derailed a few times, with most memorable moments, his near victory over Roman Reigns that was taken from him because of Solo's interference last year at WrestleMania, right? Even last year's Royal Rumble, he was the winner and went on to challenge Roman Reigns. But even after being screwed out of the belt because of Solo's interference, he didn't get right back on the path to challenge Roman, because Brock Lesnar ended up becoming his first hurdle to kind of jump over. And, Cody in a best of 3 match, right? 3 main event pay-per-views. 1 victory to Cody, 2nd victory to Brock, 3rd and final victory to call it all went to Cody. And Cody got the respect of Brock, which is a real big thing. A lot of people kind of focus on that. That's a real big thing, to have Brock Lesnar stand in the ring and raise your hand and give you the nod of approval that, you know what, you're a tough son of a bitch. And that, I felt, was a defining moment in Cody Rhodes' career. Alongside of that, he feuded with the Judgment Day as a kind of like a filler in between those moments and Royal Rumble, where he went to the Royal Rumble. And yes, for those who read the dirt sheets and the rumors, and they're like, oh, but CM Punk was supposed to win. CM Punk was supposed to win. Yes, he was. He was supposed to win, according to what a lot of these things are saying. And that only because of his elbow injury was when they called an audible in the Rumble, and he lost, did not go on to main event WrestleMania. But aside from that, Cody is back in it. The Rock is going to be there. Bloodline rules, I think, is what's going to be applied to the Universal Championship match, where we're going to see a lot of things happen in this. If Stone Cold is there to remind The Rock of their the potential ass whippings that The Rock took from Stone Cold. And like, they have some history. People kind of forget that in the Attitude Era, The Rock and Stone Cold has some history. Go look back. One of my most memorable moments between The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin was the Intercontinental Championship bridge moment. The moment where Austin forfeited the title to The Rock and then stole it from him after giving him the stunner, took the belt, and then the next week on Raw, continued to hold the Intercontinental Championship hostage until that infamous moment where he was on the bridge and he threw an oxygen tank, a snorkel mask, a regulator, some flippers into the river. And then he had The Rock's pager for some reason and was like, "Here's your beeper. So after you tell me you found it, I'll page you back with the big 316 and the big thumbs up." And The Rock looks down next to his fanny pack and sees his beeper's not there. And then Austin's like, it hurts him to do it, but he didn't earn the damn belt, so he threw the Intercontinental title in the river. They have had bad blood and a very competitive storyline. So for The Rock to come back as Hollywood Rock and cause all this ruckus, and I'm the boss, I'm the final boss, and I'm on the board of TKO. I tell Triple H what to do. He doesn't do what he wants to do. Austin is that one person to kind of go in there and just kind of shut that down. And it's crazy enough as is, because Austin is in a level that's even higher than Hulk Hogan, like admitted by Hulk Hogan. Terry basically said in an interview, like Steve Austin had ascended beyond what Hulkamania ever could have reached. So, to see that, or to hear that from Terry or Hulk Hogan, to hear that, how crazy would it have been for someone who has ascended to that height in the company to not only be the wrestler who gave the finger to the former boss, Vince McMahon, but to also give it to the new boss, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. That would be awesome. So, of course, Austin there to basically thwart The Rock at any movement that The Rock would try to do. I do feel like Goldust is going to be there after that promo that he cut, holding the tag titles for his family's wrestling promotion. And the last thing he said in the promo was, "One more thing, fuck The Rock." So we know that Dustin Rhodes is very well aware of The Rock's moves and the things that he's said and done to Cody, in the past months. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Goldust there to cause any type of interference to help his brother. We have CM Punk. Yeah, CM Punk is going to, I think he's supposed to be the guest referee for the World Heavyweight Championship match, and he can also do commentary on night 2. CM Punk has a lot of bones to pick. He's targeted The Rock in his promo cuts in the ring. He's targeted, of course, Drew McIntyre, because Drew McIntyre is targeting him on TikTok. He's targeted a lot of things. So to say that CM Punk wouldn't get involved, I think he would in some form of way. Maybe not physical in a fight per se, to the extent of where he's really gonna get like brutally attacked, but in some form of way he's gonna run interference. I feel like that's going to happen. I also feel like that Jey Uso is going to run interference. Honestly, do. I feel like this turns into a melee, but it doesn't turn into a full-blown melee ringside. I think part of it is backstage. I think the major players that they want people's eyes drawn to will be at ringside. They will be there. Kind of like what Triple H tried to do with his match against Sting at WrestleMania, and D-Generation X came out to assist, which I thought was the funniest thing. DX came out, X-Pac was there. How crazy was that? Because then the NWO came out, and then they reignited the Monday Night Wars, and they finally get to see it, the NWO and DX go at it, which I thought was the most shittiest thing to do, was to bring Hogan, Nash, and Hall, when basically, you could have brought any of the other NWO players involved. Scott Steiner could have been brought. Well, not really, because I think that, he's gone through some stuff. Lex Luger couldn't have been brought because he's went through some stuff, but, the Big Show was part of NWO at once. Y'all could have thrown him in the mix to kind of come out and even the odds. You guys could have brought Was it Jeff Jarrett was part of the NWO? Booker T was part of the NWO. Stevie Ray was part of the NWO. I mean, there was like different key players they could have brought instead of having it like a 6 versus 3 or 6 versus 4, right? Because I mean, I know they came to back Sting, and then Sting was part of like Sting can't go down and say he was never NWO. He was NWO. Whether he was Wolfpack, it's still NWO. So he was part of NWO. So his wings aren't clean on that. But the fact that Hogan, Nash, and Hall came out, because it wasn't like they had respect for the guy that was always taking them out on Monday Nitros. They have respect for the guy because he is NWO. Simple as that. I just thought it was crazy. And then X-Pac there, like confused what he's supposed to do. Yeah, good job, X-Pac. You didn't really do anything anyways, but then you got Shawn Michaels that interfered and helped, and it was so crazy because seeing Shawn and Sting at a church wrestling event years ago, where Sting played the soul that was tormented because of addiction and drugs and stuff like that, and Shawn came to help him, comes out to the ring, super kicks these guys dressed up as demons and breaks the chains that are like wrapping around Sting. Both those two guys, I don't know if you guys know that, but they are very religious. They believe heavily in their faith, and they do these things on the side to kind of help. So it was like crazy to see like Shawn just kind of like super kick Sting when he had trips in the Scorpion Deathlock, but digress from that. Anyways, yeah, I don't see it turning into that type of melee at ringside, but I do see it having some backstage, some side ring. Do I think that The Rock's mom would get involved with Cody Rhodes' mom? I don't think that's classy for them to do that at all, to put these women involved in that, especially for Cody Rhodes' mom. You know what I mean? Like, this story represents Cody fighting for something that his father, Dustin Rhodes, didn't have in the WWE, and that his brother, Goldust, didn't have in the WWE, right? Goldust was like an Intercontinental champion. He was a tag team champion. He's never got the big one. Dusty Rhodes, he got the big one, but was under stipulation stripped of the title. So Cody winning this legitimately brings it all in. And, it kind of makes sense when you think about Cody's, intro theme, right? With Kingdom. In the very beginning, how it has that, wrestling has more than one royal family. And it just perfectly goes well with what The Rock and them and the storyline wise, what they're building up, right? Like the Anoa'i family, you can consider them to be royal family in wrestling business, because you have, The Rock, you have Yokozuna, you have Rikishi, you have Rosie from 3 Minute Warning, who was also tag teamed with the Hurricane, who is Roman Reigns' older brother, right? If you guys remember who he is, he used to walk around dressed as a superhero, a really big superhero with Hurricane, and he had the shirt that said shit, which stood for superhero in training. That guy is Roman's older brother, right? You have Umaga, you have the Usos, there's just so many people tied to the Anoa'i family. So many of them. What's her name? I can't remember her name right now. Nia Jax, right? There's just so many people tied in. So you have the McMahon family, known for the shows, the bookings, and what they do, right? So the McMahon family is well known in there. It just then, so Cody making everyone remember that there are more families whose bloodlines runs through the histories of wrestling. Never to forget that, and his family is one of them. Makes a good kind of like storytelling. The Anoa'is and the Reynolds. And yeah, I'm using the Reynolds. I'm using Cody's, his dad's real last name and not the Rhodes name. But yeah. Anyways, my prediction: Cody finishes the story. Cody gets the win, and that's that. So anyways, we'll talk more heavy and deeper in the Deathlock podcast. Was I holding back on most of the things that I felt? Yes, since B-Tech scheduled the podcast, because I've been bugging him to do a podcast in the last week, and we just either he ends up busy or I end up busy, and we just never got to do it. So since he already scheduled it, 2 p.m. his time tomorrow, that's his time in Texas. My time, it will be 12 noon my time tomorrow. We're gonna go and talk wrestling for I could do it for an hour. because I have to go and do other things too before WrestleMania starts. So a little bit different of a podcast, no tech involved. I appreciate those who stopped in and hung out for a little bit, listened to what I had to say and commented. Appreciate you guys so much for that. And yeah, subscribe to the Deathlock podcast. I definitely want to see you guys there tomorrow. And remember, you don't have to acknowledge me. You don't have to acknowledge me. Boy, Roman would be so pissed if someone told him that. We don't have to acknowledge you.